Yeah, I hope now people can hear me. Great. Wave in case of something. Yeah, so this project I'm talking about was done under the support of Biodata grants from GBIF. Yep. And it's only the part of a lot of projects done by another students or another enthusiasts or people who are working in national parks in Ukraine. You can see from how many areas people applied for the same grants and they all succeed to receive it. So how many data sets that will be published or are already published. And from Kharkiv, from my university, we got even 2 proposals. And one of them is about myxomycetes. So let's get to it. Research about myxomycetes in Ukraine dates back to 19th century. And you see a lot of surnames written here, and the map shows the areas they were working on. You see maybe some Polish, German surnames. So every source we were able to find, it was written in any kind of language. Of course, modern ones are written in English, but the first one which we ever found was written in German, and it was dating back to then Ukraine was a part of maybe yes. Yeah. So we needed to deal with all of the languages and with all of the dialects. And yeah, we tried to present the data through the scale of the centuries. So the main purposes of creating this data set, to make visible and accessible data for all the researchers who are interested maybe in particular species or in particular group of species, or maybe in the area of Ukraine. Also to summarize this research across 150 years and to create the contribution to the GBIF database. So it wasn't easy to do because first of all, we needed to find all the articles. And for this, I can say we have experts in Ukraine. So thanks to Dmitro and to Irina, we were able to search and find all the missing sources which are not present in the web. Then we manually rewrote a lot of data which was published in the sources, rewrote and also revised, because a lot of species which we accept now, people were considering as there are other species, or even not myxomycetes. So they were not saying there's a myxomycetes, they were describing something we know that it is now a myxomycete. Then we needed to clean the data and also georeferencing. I remember that Martin, I guess, 2 days ago was mentioning that about the rules, how to accept the new species, that, yeah, if the coordinates are not provided, we can reconstruct them. And this is also a great work to do, because sometimes people are mentioning only the village. And the village, through all these types of countries and governmental, like who is the ruler of your country, they are changing. So it can be village today, but tomorrow it will be part of the big city, or they will restore the ancient name of the village. So we try to go also through a lot of archives to search for original names of the villages, or some specific forests which may not exist even today. Yeah, and for the today presentation, I will show you a bit of what we can get out of this data set. So the data set we are going to publish soon, right after we will get home from the conference, I hope, consists of occurrences of myxomycetes from the territory of Ukraine. We were sampling only of the territory of Ukraine with the borders of 1991 year. So we have more than 4,000 records for now. and we revised more than 70 literature sources. And out of that, I'm proud to announce that we will publish soon the checklist of Ukrainian myxomyces, which contains of 356 accepted species for now, for the day I'm presenting it. Also, except the just literature sources, we revised some herbarium specimens, and we will publish to this dataset also 92 specimens which are stored in some herbarium and private collections. I can add to this that except the Kharkiv University herbarium, there are also 3 more herbariums. The Ukrainian specimens are present and they're not published yet, and also 1 private collection from Ireland. So the main languages, as I said, they're mostly Russian, Ukrainian, Polish, of course, from the Western Ukraine, and English is the main language for nowadays publication. Yep. So you can see here geographic coverage of all these occurrences from this data set. If you don't know anything about geography of Ukraine, you can clearly see where is our capital, right? Yeah, because a lot of researchers, they're living in the capital and they are working close to the capital. A lot of people are going to the local forests on their weekends, so they are able to collect the material there. So it's not just because the myxomyces are abandoned and they tend to live in the capital cities. No, of course, no. It's just because of the main areas where researchers they're working. As well, as you can see, the Ukrainian Carpathians area, like the main distance for recreation, for vocation forays, as well as Crimean mountains. And for now, you can clearly see there are all the researchers who are today came to the Congress, they're working at the Kharkiv region. And we have 2 national parks there, which you can see like in bright red, the samples very good. And what do you think is here? What kind of the biogeographical region is here in Ukraine? Why it's not sampled at all? It's a steep. Yeah, it's steep. It's Ukrainian steep, so it's still yet to be discovered, and we hope that with the help of Anastasia and moist chamber technique, we will discover more about this area. Sorry? Yeah, unfortunately for now, but still there are a lot of territories. We hope so. I'm an optimist. Now we are getting closer to the parts I'm not that confident with, but here you can see the taxonomical coverage of the occurrences from our data set. So maybe you can see also some groups of your particular interest. And I'm not a taxonomist, but maybe you can comment me about how well is our data set reflects the general distribution of the myxomyces in the world, like how many species are in each genus, and is it reflect somehow with the global distribution? Yeah, and here you can see the coverage through the time. So after the in the modern, in nowadays area, the research of myxomyces, of course, excels. And I guess it's because of the wartime. Here is a gap. Now, for the phenology, as well, you can see where are nidicolous myxomyces, and that's, I guess, we tried our best to extract the data from all the sources, but of course, people not always were providing the exact dates of collecting. And also the issue we were dealing with, that in Ukraine, in the territory of Ukraine, people were using different calendars. Like nowadays we are using the calendar which was used, like we recalculated time for 2 weeks after, like that's why we also have this holidays, like old new year in our country, because yeah, we were using different calendars and people also used, so we needed to reconstruct the dates, not only coordinates. Because it can also influence the phonology. Like you just said in the previous talk that it's very important for nidicolous myxomyces, that you can miss just 1 week and your field season is gone. So while reconstructing, you can also see that it was a shift in springtime for nidicolous myxomyces, but it actually wasn't. It was just like not the right date mentioned. And from this data set, we got also some records for rare species. You can see on the screen that, I guess, it's also published in the article. So not the main point. Yeah. Come. So now you can see another great map of distribution of the occurrences from the data set, and it's written "Дякую," so it altogether makes the word "thank you" in Ukrainian.
Thanks a lot for this interesting talk, how you can get stuff together from different sources. And I know this checklist business is really tedious. I got your really interesting publication from Agarica. Wow, great work as well. We have a checklist for Germany as well, but it needs to be updated as well.
Yeah, just a comment on checklists. I mean, checklists tends to be published as a paper, but it's outdated the day it's published. So ideally we should, at least I'm contemplating having some sort of, you know,
yeah, of course, the data
dynamic
set will
checklist. So the day
together.
Things change, the day after, the checklist is updated with new species or splits or recombinations or whatever.
And another comment for me, otherwise we really end up with everything is everywhere. I think it needs also to be mentioned, this checklist, if we have a checklist species quite abundant in the respective country, since we come back to the last thing, Diderma nivium, at least in the German Alps, yes, it is there, but I wouldn't tell it abundant, for example. There is a difference. And that's also a good point. You might have things abundant which we never see. I recall Tubifera aplanata from Dimitri's discussions with Dimitro. He says, yeah, of course, we find it. I've never seen it really well. I've not seen it in the field. More questions? If not, we probably simply move on due to the problems that we have. Lunch soon waiting. Yevgeny Moroz from Belarus is hopefully already online. I hope we can get him. I got with him in touch via email already and hope we can see him soon. Research on myxomycetes in Belarus.